Well, I think everyone will pretty much agree with this, that air conditioners are an essential item here in Arizona.
That would probably be unanimous.
But as Freon is being phased out and its price is climbing, many people are turning to substitutes.
Well, the EPA has ruled that some of those substitutes, like 134A, are safe and acceptable. But the News 15 investigators have found that other alternatives can be dangerous, even explosive. Chris Heinbaugh reports.
I don't like to drive around with a live bomb in my car.
This is what could happen.
This is a possibility of what can happen. Most people don't know what's in their car.
It is HC12a, a refrigerant some drivers are using in their car's air conditioner. It's cheaper than Freon, but also highly flammable. Some ingredients include propane and butane gas, something that has Arizona's fire marshal worried.
They're installing a refrigerant in an automobile that is not designed specifically for that style of gas.
And that could spell disaster.
You could have fire, you could have explosion, you could have a leak into the passenger compartment. Again, would lead to asphyxiation.
Now we're recovering now.
Valley air conditioning expert Frank Gavin agrees. A car's refrigeration system isn't well protected. A simple fender bender could mean a fire when HC12a is released.
Into the engine compartment.
Spark plugs,
right.
Manifold,
everywhere.
Alternator.
Everywhere.
A lot of ignition sources.
Everywhere, right.
And in a series of tests, News 15 learns just how easy this is, if circumstances are right. The tests are conducted in Florida by the Palm Beach County Fire Department and the International Association of Arson Investigators, which doesn't endorse or condemn HC12a. They'll use 3 cans of HC12a, the amount to charge some cars.
We're going to simulate and assume that this car had an impact that disrupted the integrity of the unit's car's AC system, allowing the product to leak into the car.
Once released, it'll come into contact with something found in everyone's car, a spark plug. The only ignition source for this test. They activate the spark plug from a safe distance.
Didn't take long.
It's a flash fire, damaging much of the engine.
These are examples of what can happen, and it gives us a lot of concern.
This is OZ Technology in northern Idaho, the maker of HC12a. The man in the hat is company president Gary Lindgren. He insists the product is safe.
There's probably 5 million cars using my refrigerant in them without a single accident or injury. I think that speaks for itself.
He also produced several studies to back that up, but the Environmental Protection Agency isn't convinced. Citing flammability concerns, it's banned HC12a as a replacement for Freon in cars. And here in Arizona, it's now illegal to sell HC12a for use in car air conditioners. But that doesn't mean it's not being sold. Just try this auto parts store in Deer Valley.
How much is it? $10.
And this unlikely spot, a water store in Apache Junction. The man says he's the Pinal County distributor for HC12a.
Yeah, changer.
Some local mechanics are now investing in devices like this to detect products like HC12a. They worry because flammable refrigerants can contaminate the mechanic supply of Freon, then every car after it.
In the industry, they're starting to call this AC AIDS.
And many don't realize they have it.
Some technicians, some places install that without their knowledge.
This is a typical Australian car.
To prove its safety, OZ Technology commissioned its own test in Australia. Their experts say they released 2 cans of HC12a inside the car, lit a candle, then waited. Nothing happened.
This is getting boring.
The EPA isn't convinced, saying the test was not scientifically valid. And fire officials say just because it didn't happen once doesn't mean it won't.
It's just like the a gas leak in your house. It's the same thing. You could put the lights on several times and nothing happened, and then one time flick it on and then have the house blow apart.
And under the right conditions, a blast can do more than just damage an engine. we witness another test. This time, a mannequin is used to gauge physical injury. Fire officials use a hose to simulate a leak going inside the car. A candle simulates a lit match or a lighter. Again, a flash fire. This time, it would have been deadly.
But you can see the concussion in there would have still probably knocked the person out or severely injured them. They wouldn't have been able to get out, and then the fire would eventually consume them.
OZ Technology says this has never happened. Fire officials say it's simply a matter of time.
Now, an important thing to know, HC12a is legal for industrial process refrigeration, just not for cars in Arizona. Also, the tests we witnessed were not scientific, and Gary Lindgren thinks too much HC12a was used in those tests. However, 3 cans is what OZ Technology recommends for many cars. And after the blast, the cans all still had plenty of product left in them. Only a portion actually escaped. But if the conditions are right, that's all it takes.
Well, now, we've shown people this. Now I'm sure what they want to know is, how do I find out if this is in my car?
Well, it's not easy, but there's really only one way that you can check yourself. What you have to do is go to an air conditioner mechanic that has that device that we showed you in the story. It's a refrigeration detection device. This is the only safe way you're going to find out if you're driving around with flammable refrigerants in your car.
Do you recommend, Chris, that most people go ahead and do this?
I would say if you're going to go get your car serviced, I'd go to a place that has one of these detection devices, because that's the only way you're going to find out if it's in your car, and they're checking the product that's coming in, so at least there's less chance that their product has been contaminated.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.